I don't even know. Here's the thing, though, about it. It's just like a Twitter video, so it's like upright, so the frame is like here, and it doesn't expand. Boomered out, dude. Maybe if nothing I can do. So it's a little tiny baby screen, but this was a clip on TikTok, and this is from the Thinking Atheist friend of the show. 2021 Ladies Conference. I don't know which one, doesn't matter. But as you can see, as you can see by the attire and the decor, this is a largely Caucasian event, though not only. But though the men, when I say Caucasian event, that doesn't necessarily, that means the aesthetic holistically in general. Like we could say more crass, like raisins in the potato salad vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like these ladies, bake sales, stale cookies. These are very Christian people. So
I'm working on being more sensitive to not being too outspoken when my husband and I are in a group setting and talking over him, talking too much. I mean, especially because he is a Christian and he's wise and he has good things to say.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. Christianity is a brain rot. Like, there's just no reasonable way that you can reconcile belief in any of the Christian stuff. And have like overall like a reliable opinion on stuff. It forms too much of you, and I'm right. And if you're a religious person, well, it is what it is, dude. I would wish you would enjoy the realities that we live in. But worse than that is being not only religious, because it doesn't make you wrong in general, it just makes you more likely to be wrong. Worse than being religious is being religiously conservative. That is an even worse brain rot. It is terminal at that point. It is very hard to get out of that. Low survival chances on that. You will definitely die a conservative Christian if you start one more often than not. If you are one into your adulthood more often than not. It's hard to get out of. It's rough. It's a tough one. So I feel bad for these people as well. Because it's like socially imposed brain rot, right? And so this lady thinks that because of Christian doctrine and you know, men are the head of the household and the hierarchy within hierarchy is a great example of a place where Christianity falls the fuck apart under your leftist worldview if you are in fact still a Christian. Hierarchy is absolutely demanded by Christianity at every pass, and especially written on dimorphic sexual lines and what they would call gender lines. You know what I mean? Like it isn't tenable with any of. I should say it up here into the mic instead of grabbing the pen that I dropped. But it's more than just like a religious belief. It genuinely informs poorly your worldview in a way that it's so hard to reconcile. And even if you're like, oh, I'm spiritual or whatever, then you're so divorced from the fucking core tenets of your shit anyway that you become more of a cultural Christian. And then it's like, why hold on to these things? And then it just causes grief for everybody, and it makes you feel unclean, including this lady whose husband she doesn't feel comfortable around being loud or outspoken or having opinions. And you'll see further in this clip that extends to the people outside of that situation as well.
And he can't say them if I'm talking. So I'm wondering about when, if ever, it's appropriate. If I've noticed when I've been in a group setting that I've talked over him and stuff, then of course I know that it's right to go to him and to apologize and ask for forgiveness and repent.
To apologize, ask for forgiveness, and repent. Like, this is only good under a kink setting, in my opinion. Like this just tells you. Your Sarah giggle from the living room. This doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it's an established hierarchy that because I have a dick and balls, that I have somehow gained the ability to circumvent Sarah's or any partner of mine's like desire or need to be heard. Like they're I don't know, just literally not being able to get anything off their chest, especially in front of other people. Like, does that not sound at all like the foundation of an exploitable, abusive behavior? Hello? You can't talk about your shit in front of other people, and if you do so, you have to do so essentially at my request and allowance. It's ridiculous. Master 1545, thanks so much for the 20 months, dude. Appreciate it.
I'm wondering if it's ever right to go to the other people who were in the group and apologize to them.
That's so fucking sad, dude. Look, I want to know if I should apologize to my husband when I speak over him, but I was also wondering, should I apologize to the group of people that witnessed me speak over my husband as well? Is some sad shit. Like, that's just, it's not just like, wow, what a fucking slug, because it is. That is slug behavior. But it's also like, holy shit, this is slug behavior because this person's obviously been tamped down by the culture so much. She feels the need to reject her own personal urge to communicate with others and have conversations and socialize freely without her husband's oversight or control of the situation. Like, it's just disgusting.
Like, say Laura's had us over for dinner, and I realize that in that setting of us four, I haven't had that quiet and submissive spirit. Is that ever right to address with Laura afterward? If that makes sense?
It's just a gross question to ask. Like, as a man, I would be offended if my partner asked that on my behalf. And I don't know how any self-respecting man, like, or anybody, literally anybody, but definitely in this, like, heteronormative, the man is the household person, like, even in that setting, I would feel disgusting if my partner, who I'm supposed to love, like, don't they say, like, love and cherish, or, like, till death do us part, like, to love and hold and be good to each other and shit? What does that mean to people? Like, Christians are so weird about this stuff. It's a brain rot disease. This is at the core of conservative belief, by the way. Like, again, this is why I say that it's not tenable to be a leftist and believe in this hibbledy-bibbledy stuff. Like, this is make-believe stuff that people believe. Some people get a little butthurt about that, but, like, just steel man me for 1 second, okay? If you are a religious person, hear me out, because I'm not trying to be an asshole, even though it comes across as that, because I just have no reverence at all for the made up thing you believe. So, and I understand that that's like, it sends your brain into shock, but, like, just take it from steel man my position. Say I'm right, and literally none of this is real. The only context I have socially to your spiritual experience, right, is like role play and D&D and like watching a movie and or getting lost in a book. Like, it's fucking fanfic, bro. Literally, Christianity is Jewish fanfic from long ago in one of their many Messiah stories. Not even the only Messiah story. Anyway, don't get me on my atheism bullshit. I'm just saying it's I live in a world where I am subject to people's, and many of you do as well, I am subjected to people's literal, like, made-up story, and I have to abide by laws that made-up story created. Now, obviously, I'm very fortunate. Not only am I a guy that passes amongst these folks, but I live in a time sort of post that more of that governance. Like, we're chipping away at that, which is good. Like, not just freedom from religion insofar as laws are concerned. I mean, they shouldn't have any fucking, like, protection at all under like, religion to me has very little function. The best function I can say religion has is a social one. And that's even, like, with a big fucking asterisk, like, but those social ones are also the places where most of the abuse happens. So anyway, and this is one of these social situations, because this lady is now asking on behalf of herself and her husband, how better can my personality be tamped down by this religious belief? It's just disgusting. Maybe this is a YouTuber. Holy shit, I'm on my bullshit. Wow.
Well, in a situation like that, if you think you talked too much, then I would go to my husband and ask him his thoughts, and you may even need to ask his forgiveness.
His forgiveness, bro. You gotta ask your husband for forgiveness for talking Like, and using the word forgiveness, not even just like, it's totally normal if you thought, damn, was I just obnoxious? Like, that's true. People can be that. That's fine. You just go up to your husband or whoever your partner is and be like, hey, yo, was I kind of a dick just a second? Like, you could just get checked. That's fine. You can be like, hey, yo, vibe check. Am I the asshole right now? Like, and in confiding in your partner is totally fine. But asking forgiveness from your partner, like, to me, from a secular worldview, forgiveness is a much stronger endeavor than just being like, hey, I'm sorry, man. That's my fault. That's my B. You know, like holding an L. Like, totally different vibe. I don't know. These people are absolutely whack. Sarson, thanks so much for the prime. 20 months! Appreciate it. And so, yeah, this is just a symptom of broader Christianity and conservatism and, you know, all the bad shit that causes. It's just... like, you maybe heard in old atheist YouTube times, like, religion is a tool used to control the masses, which to some extent is true, although I believe it's not so much, like, it's not a conspiracy. It's not a grand conspiracy for the most part. I mean, there's obviously right-wing religious political groups that try to have agendas and stuff. But I mean, like, just like the broad umbrella of Christianity is used to control people. Usually it's just because the source material is enforcing a strict hierarchy that is based on ancient beliefs about the fucking sexes and how society ought to be run according to a Jewish, like, pastoral or nomadic, like, individual that had, like, the world experience of someone who's traveled from Detroit to Cleveland on foot. You feel me? Like, that's the kind of wisdom we're looking for? Wow, that guy's been fucking 400 miles on foot? Shit. I guess Forrest Gump should be running shit and writing his memoirs down because he walked a bit. Like, relax. Fanagami, thanks so much for the 50 biddies. Over time, I've gotten increasingly angry at the church. Notice I'm saying church, not religion. Most of my problem with religion comes with church. Nowadays, it seems the church is in the way. Yeah, I totally disagree with divorcing the church from religion. But I get why you would, because people are sensitive about it, and you feel like if you don't pull your punch on that, people will be like all up in arms, and maybe you still feel that way. You're like, oh, it's a very liberal approach, guys. I'm going to re-radicalize you fucking people into being like anti-theists. It's necessary. There's so much fucking deference given to these people that believe nonsense. It's just nonsense. It's not like, oh, they have a different opinion. No, they believe the earth is like 6,000 years old. Men walked with dinosaurs until that they were kicked off the fucking ark. There are people who fucking believe that. They govern you. And you just are like, you know, like, oh, well, I mean, if they didn't organize in the churches and they, you know, the taxes are different, and like, no, fuck it, it's a brain disease, guys. They believe it's like saying that anti-vax behavior is like a fine, like, thing that, I mean, I really don't give a shit if people believe it. It's like, no, you really should, because it fucking deeply informs the way that society is forced to function when these people believe in nonsense. And none of it's helpful. There isn't a single thing you can get from religion that you can't get secularly. And there's certainly not a thing you can get from religion that you can't get from secularly better. Not one thing.
I hope you have a
Bree, thanks so much for the 41 months. Prime in it. Appreciate it. I'm big time on my bullshit, but I'm right, dude. Like, religion is a fucking cancer. And, like, I don't necessarily care if anyone believes, but it definitely makes me suspicious about the way that your brain thinks about stuff. And your honesty, because it makes me think like, okay, did you fucking think about this for 2 seconds? Because it's really simple. Because I grew up secularly, right? So I don't have the programming. I got to go to it neutrally. And so it's just so different. Yeah, you can, of course, get community everywhere else. You can absolutely get guidance everywhere else, specifically moral guidance. Like, there are people around who are perfectly fine and moral and good and have never fucking stepped foot in a church. Like, this shit is just insane to me. What you're seeking in church is like not an ideal situation. Not only is it not real, like it doesn't just not offer benefits, it's quite literally a detriment to society and to each individual that takes part in it, to whatever degree you'd like to say. Like some are, obviously they get like incredibly abused, and some people, like, it's down to the simple fact of like even the minutia of stuff, like the basic core tenet of you being inherently sinful makes you, and every Christian and and I know a lot of Christians are like, oh, it's not like that. It's fucking like that, dude. Every Christian, especially Catholics, hold this deep, like, I'm inherently disgusting aspect of themselves, especially when it comes to sexuality, especially when it comes to gender and expression, especially when it comes to just the idea of them, like, and like death, and how, like, oh, I gotta be if I'm not in the church, if I'm not a part of this, if I'm not giving them my money, well, then I'm fucked. So I have to. I'm like hostage but it's not real. It's TikTok witches. It's guys.
It has the juice?
If you saw me hold up 2 sticks and go like this and be like, this is my God symbol, but suddenly I straighten it up and I go like this, and it's like, oh, that's a fucking fine thing. It's 2 sticks, and it's a torture device. It's a death cult. I'm on my bullshit. I know Finnick got me. Appreciate your 50 biddies. I know you agree in general. And maybe this is my theism kicking in, but a lot of those problems are like human nature. Disagree. Nope, I disagree. I don't think it is human nature to organize anti-hierarchically. It is human nature to be wrong. There's nothing natural about Christianity. There's nothing like the most natural thing you can say about it is, like, Christians are on some bullshit about how humans operate. Christians are on this idea that, like, humans, although very vastly imperfect and meek and sinful, they have some fucking Dunning-Kruger shit in their brains that makes them think I can't be wrong about this ever, because someone 1,000 years removed from, like, the agricultural revolution was able to jot some of their thoughts down about the natural world that were incorrect based on observations. Like, why does this get more credence than the Epic of Gilgamesh, which came earlier from the same area, from people that descended eventually into the people that wrote the Christianity books and wrote the Talmud and stuff? Like, it makes no fucking sense. So your primacy ends where you decide? What about the Code of Hammurabi, which predates the fucking commandments and modern law, like, which was also bullshit. It was wrong. But, like,
I just wanted to add, because I know people are gonna be like, well, you weren't raised religious, so you don't know. I was raised religious, and I could, like, over time, as I get older, I realize how much of that had to be active brainwashing to constantly keep you in it.
It literally is.
Naturally, the natural state that I regress to when not being brainwashed is I'm not thinking that there's some greater being in the, in some metaphysical space controlling all of time.
Right.
Like, that's not...
Now,
I wouldn't have come to those beliefs naturally on my own.
Of course not.
I only came to them because I was brainwashed into
the only natural part of any religion, and this is why we have all these different religions, is because in imperfect society with little information and not the ability to exchange information in reliable ways until we invented writing and we invented stability and we invented cities and we got past the agricultural revolution and past nomadism and past all that, and then started connecting with each other and started having other languages and being able to, like, really like, bleed into each other culture-wise, which has totally happened over the years. Nobody is pure at all, of course.
We started to explain stuff and we called it magic, and then...
It wasn't just that. It's not. No. Okay, you head out of here. Get out. She's on her bullshit, but I'm on it more. So
It has the juice?
I love you too. How many people do you think use religion for escapism from their own mortality? It's like 100% of the people that are still Christian, in my opinion. Most people that are Christian are really worried about death. But I don't blame humans for coming up with these things necessarily, because, again, these were, like, think about the intelligence of your most wise person 10,000 years ago is like in their 20s, has been injured constantly, probably sick, and probably hasn't traveled much. You know what I mean? Like, these people are looking at the world, and it's filled with predators. It's filled with ways to kill us. We have to use our brains to even get this stuff done. Like, we came out of the trees because we were using tools, and we went from fucking monkeys to running around and then having access to nutrition. And suddenly, like, we're expected to explain the world without any sort of verifiable method. There's a reason that science has never proven any of the supernatural stuff that people believe. Like, it's not just because they haven't done it right. It's because it doesn't exist. There are phenomenons for sure, but geez, man. Like, and by phenomenons, we mean just things we can't explain yet. But, like, certainly when I started in, like, 2012 on YouTube, a million more answers have been gotten since then. And it only, like, again, it's got a gap shit. Like, it just until he's nothing. And, like, good, because it's fucking antiquated and it means nothing to anybody.
It has the juice.
Silly. I got sucked in because I was looking for friends, not super religious growing up, and someone invited me to their church for a youth group. Hyper fixated on it till I came out and got told God doesn't make those kinds of mistakes. They started me down the road to atheism, major in religion in college, which solidified my atheism. Yes, said a source, exactly. Thank you for the biddies, by the way. Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to maintain religious belief nowadays for good reason. Not only does it not hold up to any fucking level of scrutiny, it harms people regularly, just in its practice, in its basic practice. At its basic level, you're inherently sinful. You're inherently dirty. You need to beg for forgiveness, and there's a hierarchy in the home, and it's only heterosexual. You know what I mean? Like, it goes down the line.
It has the juice.
Oh, thanks for 50 biddies. The Mormons recruited me at age 11 because I wanted to actually have a family in a church with me, and they sold me the idea that hell didn't exist. Yeah, Mormons are even more fucked up because the secrecy involved with that insulates you not just within your family but also within the church. And then within the church, there's even levels to the church that continue to insulate it, and you can get really ostracized. Lots of people lose their whole lives because of the Mormons. Yeah, it's awful. I mean, I lived in Boise for a while, and there's temples everywhere, so yeah. And Mormons everywhere. It's a terrible place. I do not like it.